What's going on, everyone? 2 Cent Timmy here. I am back making my avatar videos. I took about a month off and getting really involved, elbow deep in a lot of really great projects. Hopefully, I'll talk about those later and we can share some of those. But in the meantime, I went away, stopped making videos, didn't really go away, stopped making videos, and during that period, Reddit released their Gen 5 avatars, the spooky sequel. Um, so I know last time I said I would make the Gen 4 slept on videos, but that has to wait because I am super pumped about Gen 5. There were um, so many great avatars that came out. Reddit made a lot of changes. Um, and we'll kind of talk about those a little bit, and then we'll go through my top 10 favorite avatars. Um, but before we really get into the avatars, kind of want to talk a little bit about the changes. So one thing that Reddit did, they listened to feedback of everyone that was saying, "Hey, the mints are way too many. We have way too many avatars coming out. Nothing will sell out, and the prices are too high." So what Reddit did was they gave control back to the artist over pricing. But they set some parameters. So basically, every avatar had to be between $5 and $50, and the mint quantity had to be between 50 and 500. And within that, artists were able to do whatever they wanted. So if they wanted to make $55 avatars, $50 avatars, $5, 500 avatars, $550 avatars, whatever. Um, that was a lot of numbers with fives in there. Kind of kind of confused my brain for a second, but they could do whatever they wanted, and any price in between. They could do $10, $25, whatever, however many mints, 50, 500, 100, 222 if they wanted. Um, and that was really cool, and it brought a lot of excitement back. So, with that being said, we will hop right into our top 10 videos. All right, the top 10 Gen 5 avatars. Spooky sequel, so super excited. Now, a little bit of facts and figures before we get into it. It was released October 23rd, 2023. Right now, there's 128 unique avatars that are listed. Um, some were delisted, one was removed for copyright infringement, which was um, quite funny if you ask me, but they right now in the shop you'll be able to see 128 of these unique avatars. Like I said, the mint numbers range from 50 to 500. Prices range from $5 to 50. Right now, the 25 avatars have sold out completely. And what was super cool about this release is a lot of really popular NFT projects and famous artists joined. The biggest name was Deadfellas, um, but we had a few more people join that are um, like Lucky Ducky, who does claymation stuff. So it was really cool to see more names getting in the Reddit avatar space, and I expect going forward we'll see a lot more projects trying to hop on. Um, Deadfellas, when they released it, they had a separate timeline release, but they sold out within probably 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It was pretty spectacular there. So before we get going, I felt horrible making this video. Only coming up with 10 avatars. It was really tough. And I only limited it to one avatar per artist in the top 10. Um, but as you can see, these are some of the honorable mentions that did not make the list. So, Ember by Lord Naffigan, which was Nagafin, sorry, always mispronounce that, but really cool. It's basically like a baseball card, um, or Pokemon card or whatever, for your avatars. We had Lucky Duck NFT come out with a vampire and pumpkin costume. Connell in Space had some really great ones. Rosium again came out with great ones. Rosiums were really cool. It was a different style, and one thing that I found fascinating was Luke Mop and Peck. Their backgrounds, if you put them all next to each other, go together. So that was really cool. Big Bang by Holiday Claim was spectacular. Um, Standby by Lexicon Devil was really cool. It was fuzzy with the censored eyes, which I thought was a fuzzy background on the computer, like the white noise. Um, and then Masu had some really cool ones with his abandoned robot and water avatars. Um, so had to shout these people out. I felt horrible leaving each of these artists and the avatars off the list, um, but can only limit it to 10. And I think that's a sign of a really great collection when there are a lot that I Um, I wanted to put on and just didn't have the space for. So coming in at number 10, we have Stained Glass Devil by Joe Mari 5. Um, Super cool. I was actually up in the air if I was going to pick Stained Glass Devil or another one by Joe. I went with Stained Glass Devil, but he has some really, really cool avatars. Um, this collection, I mean, this one thing that I thought was cool was the ring of cones around the outside. Obviously, you can see why it's called Stained Glass Devil. Um, and then this right hand trait with the little halo, I thought was pretty funny with the devil, but super, super solid. Interesting. This has not sold out of the shop. I think maybe the high mint at the $50 probably hurt Joe, and it doesn't have any secondary sales, which I also found pretty fascinating because I saw this and I thought it was um, quite the avatar. Um, Even the little heart here, I think, is super, super cool. There's a lot of the more you look at something like this, and as is with most of Joe's artwork, the more you look at it, the more that really stands out, and you go, "Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool." Um, but super, super solid piece here by Joe. Coming in number 9, we have Ectoplasm by Medi Mercury. This avatar again, I saw and was blown away. The background, super, super cool, really trippy. I love the skull, the ghostly skull. You have whatever this um, plasma type stuff is. Um, Really, really cool. This avatar minted at $10. There were 410 original mints. Um, Highest sale was number one. It actually was bought by our favorite, well, tied for favorite number one collector in Saws. Um, Selling for slightly below what it minted at. Not too bad. I mean, one thing, this total volume looks super, super small. I'm not really concerned with that yet because um, one, NFTs are down anyways, and two, it's the collection's under a month old. Um, and for selling for $10, it's actually quite a bit. Coming in number 8, we have The Poll by withspaces, or um, you might know him by Tyler withspaces. He knocked it out of the park with this avatar. So he minted 109, which I thought was funny that he set that price, not 100. He had to be a little different. I wanted to reach out and ask him why he picked 109. He didn't get back to me. Um, Hello, we interrupt your regularly scheduled Avatar video to bring you this breaking news. I got in touch with Tyler with Spaces. He actually answered the question about why he picked 109 mints for his avatars. The reason was um, he's also very big into Cardano NFTs or CNFTs, and his first collection he released, he was going to give to the first 100 followers he got on the project. And then right at the last minute, a big project on Cardano retweeted it out, and he got 9 extra people thrown in. So he just gave 109 of those NFTs out. So the poll avatar was kind of an ode to his first NFT collection that he did. So thank you for that information, Tyler. And if you people want, you can check out his work on Cardano. He's all over the JPEG store. So awesome. Back to the Avatar videos between the time I thought of the question and right now. So um, won't know the answer. Maybe I'll talk about it later if he ever gets back to me. But really, really cool avatar. I mean, you can kind of see he Tyler actually built a really cool animation to kind of show how it was built, and how it's a single line that's all connected and intertwined. And the idea is basically if you pull this top piece, all of it will shrink together. So awesome avatar, super unique. Um, Definitely took a chance with this avatar. I love it. Um, so I'm glad that he did, but it's really, really cool. Something we haven't really seen yet at all. Coming in number 7, we have Treasured by It's Not Your Fault. This avatar sold out super quickly in the shop. I saw it. I thought it was really, really cool. Um, Kind of hit on all the major pieces for avatars and collectibles. You have obviously the gold, the treasure chest, the diamonds, the jewels, the crown. I mean, if you're looking for an avatar that has all the traits that people love. This is it. I mean, you even have not super clear, but there's a throne in the background, which I thought was really cool. Um, this is still selling above the mint price, a little bit over, minted for $50, selling for right around 60. Pretty high total volume. I know it's in the top 10. I think it might be top 5 um, for the Gen 5 avatars. Um, but really, really cool. Definitely love this. Now, one thing I will warn people about, I mean, you'll see if you go back to Stained Glass Devil, Ectoplasm, the pole. Well, the pole is actually kind of 3D, but Ectoplasm and Stained Glass Devil are 2D. Treasured is a 3D avatar. And that at this stage, almost every avatar is 2D. Artists have been coming out with 3D avatars that I think are really cool. Um, but because we don't have the same quantity of them, they are tough to mash with. So, like, this 3D crown is super cool and it works really well on this avatar. It doesn't work really well on every avatar um, because there's not the same depth and dimension. I do think, though, a piece like this will be super valuable going forward, simply because we're seeing more and more artists take that creative chance to make 3D avatars, and I expect them to kind of partner with each other and be able to mash different avatars together. So I think something like this will be your kind of 3D grail piece, if you will, for avatars. Next, we have Wavy Artisman by Substantial Law 910. So this is really cool. I mean, you see the black check mark. I mean, we had the degen with the regular Twitter verified check. We had Gold Artisman with the gold check, and now we have a black check. Now, this only had 50 original mints, um, and it sold out basically immediately. I mean, if you weren't on for the launch, you didn't get it. Now, this is very different as far as artistic style. I thought it was pretty cool how you have the black do-rag or bandana. The background's really cool. Obviously, you can see why it's called Wavy. Um, but really, really cool to mention. I love the gold, or not gold, the silver watch right here. I mean, you have it with all of the Artismans, but really, really cool feature here. Now, the highest sale of this, I mean, was 160 bucks. So able to sell for 3x the mint price almost immediately. Um, and a couple sold at that, and two sold at this 0.08 ETH, and then a whole bunch sold between 0.07 and 0.8 right after launch. Um, Total volume under 1 ETH. Right now, the floor actually dropped quite a bit, but it's still selling for 50% more than the than it minted for. So really, really cool design here. If you do like the verified check marks, you definitely have to pick up this one for sure. Next, we have the TheFattyBagz, and this. So Fatty and Artisma did something really cool. And with Artisma, I didn't know which one to pick. I picked Wavy Artisman because it had the black check, but he had another one called Vivid Artisman. And similar to Fatty's Not a Popsicle, they minted 50 avatars at $5. So if you can imagine, there was hardly any barrier to entry for a price and a super low supply. And basically, what that did was it caused both avatars to sell and have huge resale markup value. I mean, there's obviously only 50 that you can sell. Um, but right now, the floor price, it's almost a 15x. Um, the highest sales, number 26 and number 27, sold for 0.05 ETH. Um, so if you go that right there is $100, people have a 20 times gain on this one avatar. But I mean, putting the price aside and what flippers got for their value, this is just a super cool avatar. Really cool popsicle design. I don't think we've seen anything quite like this as far as the feet trait. Um, and then you just have classic fatty, artistic style, the single eye, really, really cool. I think my personal favorite part of this is just the background and how you have the really, really bright, vibrant, um, awesome colors. So Fatty knocked it out of the park, and I think minting 50 at $5 was it was such a bold choice, and no one had any idea how it was going to pay off. And to see um, both Artisma and Fatty's, I don't want to call it a gamble, um, but their calculated risk that they took, it's really cool to see that pay off. And hopefully more artists kind of do something like that in the future. I will say that I was a huge fan of this. Next, we're getting into our top four, and we have Bucket of the Year by Chipperdoodle. So, um, not a cone, but a bucket. And you have this awesome, awesome design for the bucket. You have this hidden diamond in the background, the upvote symbol down there. Really, really cool. So, this avatar, number one, is owned by Mvia, and that was sold off chain. All you can see is a transfer for the number one avatar. So this number 400 sale at point 0.1 ETH, I am not 100% sure, but I am 99.999% sure that Nvidia paid more than point 0.1 ETH for this. I do know that he paid 1 ETH for Aether number one, which was another one in Chipper's Gen 5 series, so I'm sure he probably paid a similar, if not higher price. Um, and this is one of the unique ones too. It minted at 25 bucks and still the um, selling for higher than the mint price. So that was pretty cool. And you can see this 2.54 ETH total volume. Pretty sure it's the highest we've seen so far, but it's pretty high. And then you could add even another Ethereum to it, at least when you consider the number one sale. Now we get into the medal round. So third place, my third favorite avatar with the bronze is Campanile by Ships. Ships came out in Gen 4 swinging hard. Really, really cool to see someone who was a huge avatar collector become an artist and do so well in Gen 4. And he surpassed what he did in Gen 5. Um, so he minted this Campanile 50 mints at 50 bucks, and it sold out like that. It was a huge opportunity if people wanted to flip. I mean, you can see even at 50 bucks, the mint to floor ratio is basically a 10x. And um, in the last five sales, you're looking at $300 people are getting back or more for a uh, $50 avatar. So one thing that's kind of cool too is, and I'm super happy for him, but Ships minted his number one avatar. So Ships himself minted the number one Campanile, the Bellhead. Um, and then he was able to flip it for 1.1 ETH. And what was really cool is he was still able to buy another avatar for it, and he really added a lot to his collection. And the number one was purchased by Reddit user Danny Atlas, who has quite a few collections of number one, and he actually also has the number one avatar for the um, silver second place avatar in this gen, and that is drumroll King Foustling by Tyler or T Faustend. So Tyler took Gen 4 off, didn't make any avatars. So when he came out with King Faustling in Gen 5, um, or as many people like to call it, Gold Faustling, it was very popular. Right now, it's selling for slightly below what it minted at. But Tyler had basically set it for 300 mints at 50 bucks. So one of the higher $50 mint collections. Um, and as you can see, this is the number one total volume collection that we have. 4.34 Ethereum. The number one avatar sold for 0.65 ETH, um, which is fairly expensive, especially for something that isn't a cone. You don't have people looking to pay a huge premium. But the number one avatar did sell for that. Now, again, you can see this has a 3D design, and it's actually a really cool story about how Tyler came up with this. Um, Basically, he was making art with his kids and thought that it was a really, really cool design. Said, I wonder if I can make this into an avatar. Um, and he did. So, like, I love the family aspect to it. Um, he actually, I know at some point, is going to auction off this the gold whale that he made. He actually made a physical version of that before he made the avatar. Um, Now, one thing I will warn people about with this avatar too. So you can see this is a three-dimensional design for the body. This is one trait. So the legs, the torso, and the head of this avatar are only one trait. If I know I have the avatar and I could check. I wish I checked before the video, but I think it's either the left hand or the right hand trait. So you use that and it covers up any other mash you have. Now that's not much fun. One thing as a downside too is this doesn't work well with Treasured, even though they're both 3D avatars. It would be the right hand trait because the whale's the left hand trait. But um, so if you remove the left hand trait on this avatar, and you will end up with an avatar that looks like this. Um, this is my avatar, so you can pick the color of the squiggly lines and the eyes. Um, but you get something that looks very, very similar to classic Foustling. Now, one thing that I think is really cool about even this design that you don't really see in other avatars, I mean, this is clearly Tyler's style. Um, and one thing too worth pointing out is Tyler signs all his work in his avatars. I don't know if anyone noticed, but right in here you can see this Foust. And so that basically, if anyone tried to copy this avatar or take credit for it, you would have Tyler's name right in there. And one thing that's kind of cool how he signs his name, I think this is really just a T and an F. So you can see the T Faust. If you have other Faust avatars, it's really a fun game to try to find where he signed his name. But this one is right across the torso. But I digress. What's really cool is you don't have the solid lines. So in classic Faustling or the other Faustlings, you had the hard circles around the outside for this new shape. And this one, he again took a creative chance. Really, really cool, really unique, where there aren't hard lines for the shape of the avatar, um, which is pretty cool. And now we are going to our number one top avatar of this collection. Um, And what we have here, if you know me, you'll know what art I appreciate. You could probably guess, but the number one avatar is Eclipse by HessicaJansen or Jess Hansen. So this avatar is absolutely spectacular. I freaking love this avatar. Um, so going over just the sale stats, so the total volume is 0.74 ETH. Um, right now, the floor it's selling for about 50% what it minted at, so that's right around $80. Last five sales right around 0.03 ETH or $60, so it's selling for higher than mint even still. But one thing that so this is where just absolutely knocked this out of the park. So you have the Eclipse. Obviously, you can see why the avatar is called that. But you have this trait here, which is one color. If you remove I believe this is the head trait. I'm not 100% sure. So the head trait is all of the black. Underneath that, you have the body, which is more like a magma red. It's translucent, a little bit opaque, but you can still see the sun shining through. Um, and then you also, for the feet, you have this eclipse background. Um, there's another trait that has this solar flare. But one thing that was really cool that Jess did was she made a redundant trait for this kind of outer glow. So let's say that you have an avatar that has feet, but you want the outer glow. Believe it's the right hand trait or left hand trait rather. Yeah, it's the left hand trait. Um, for the other glow, outer ring, so you can almost highlight your avatar and make it look kind of special, give it this effect on your avatar using this. So this is a Masher's Paradise um, for the avatar. Now, Jess, again, like Ships, was a Gen 4 artist who knocked it out of the park in Gen 5. So she has this avatar, which is fantastic. The number one owner is a Reddit user by the name of Null Complex. He also has the last mint of Eclipse, so he has mint 102. Um, another um, avatar in the series by Jess was one called Blee. Um, which again is super, super cool. Definitely check out her collection there. Maybe I'll talk more about it, do special videos of more of my favorite avatars. But she did Blee and Phantom, and those also super, super high quality avatars that I really can't say enough of. Um, but yeah, I think my personal favorite in Gen 5 is Eclipse. So I will kind of end with this poem that I wrote for Gen 5. October 23rd, a spooky sequel released. Collectible avatars, excitement increased. Ghostly pixels dance in the virtual night. There's no fright, only delight. Amazing artists, a diverse array. Creative mashers with new toys, they will play. Back from the grave, a digital revival. The launch we needed before collectible expressions arrival. So that's the video. Whole bunch of fun. So stay tuned for more videos. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like I said, my next video is going to be the top 10 slept on Gen 4 avatars. And also make sure you give me a follow on X at 002 Timmy NFTs. After Thanksgiving in the US, I'm going to be starting a weekly space. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be talking about um, Reddit collectible avatars, a lot about the cone heads and Bitcoin, and kind of what's going on there. Really trying to people, but it's actually something that I don't see other spaces do that I think is super, super important. Is I'm going to give time to a project outside of Reddit collectible avatars to just kind of talk about what they're doing. I think one thing that really, really hurts in the crypto space and in NFTs in general is all this tribalism, and projects are kind of out for themselves. And I think it's really a bad look because I think there's a lot of people that are trying to do really great things, and just because their approach is different, um, or they may think about things differently, doesn't mean we have to hate them. Doesn't mean we have to talk badly about them. And from their different perspective, we can see something different, and maybe it'll help um, us create better projects. So that is it. I hope to see you guys again soon. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving if you're in the US. And as always, keep smiling.